whoever you believe in, there's guidance from them, and there's also like your gut feelings.
Hello and welcome to the Feminine as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Monica Yates, a period and ICF certified women's life coach, and I help women to harness the power of their period and connect to their feminine flow. In these episodes, we will be talking about all things periods, hormones, confidence, health, food, money, sex, business, feminine flow, your brain, energy, and all the stuff that goes through our heads. You will walk away from each episode with new chicken nuggets and truth bombs, as I don't have a filter and I love talking about all the shit that people are thinking but too afraid to say.
Hi everyone, it's a fucking vibe today. I've been dancing, I've found two new favorite songs, and I like somehow find new favorite songs all the effing time. So if you don't follow me on my Spotify, make sure you do, because I've got some really banging playlists there if I don't say so myself. I spent the whole day recording content for MMM Level 2 and for BABA 2.0, so look out for that. But anyway, this is episode 100. We have well over 200,000 downloads on the podcast, which is fucking amazing. And we now are at 100 fucking episodes. Like, I can't wait for 111 because it's like 111. And also 911 because my numbers are 911. Like, my ultimate angel numbers that I've seen for my whole life are 911. So excited for it all. Anyway, today's episode is something special. We have an incredible giveaway, which I'm going to announce in the middle of the episode. So make sure that you're listening. And not a giveaway, a like discount thing for it to celebrate episode 100. And today we're talking all about intuition and my favorite spiritual practices that I really enjoy doing like all the time to kind of get me into the vibes. And majority of you know that I am like hella witchy. So I'm going to kind of share some of those with you guys today. And I'm also going to talk about how you can tap into your intuition. Now, if you don't have the bundle, go get that, because I've actually done a video that I'm pretty sure is in the bundle about how to tap into your intuition and how to get like universal signs and everything. So make sure you go and look at that, because that is also very, very helpful. But we're going to go through some stuff today. Okay. So, oops, that's a message from Shelby. Hold on a second. Let me just close this. Okay, let me just close this. All right. So otherwise it's going to bleep. Okay. So the first thing I want to say about intuition is that intuition, okay, so there's intuition and like guidance, like spiritual guidance from source, your guides, angels, universe, the moon, whoever you believe in, there's guidance from them. And there's also like your gut feeling. So I find for my male clients, it's easier to ask them to use their gut feelings because they like understand what gut feelings are. Your intuition is just like your gut feelings, okay? So that gut, that kind of like nudge that you get, that's your intuition. And your intuition never leads you in the wrong direction. Never, ever, ever. Even if you do something that your intuition told you to do and it was like, it kind of like blew up in your face and you're like, what the fuck? That is not a vibe. There's some lesson in there that you had to learn to get you to the next step. So when you can learn to follow your intuition, and a lot of us have blocks around our intuition, that like trauma and stuff that we need to clear to allow us to be really embodied in it. When you can, when you're really in alignment, you've cleared all that shit and you are so in your, like, you can really listen to your intuition. It's the easiest way to live, because it just becomes easy to fucking live, because you're not like battling between your head and your heart and your intuition. You're just like, oh, intuition says this, we do this. So for some people, they feel their intuition in their heart. Other people feel it in their stomach. Other people feel it in their womb. I often get mine pretty heavily in my heart and a little bit in my womb. So if something feels so fucking good or so fucking bad, I'll feel it in my heart and my womb. And then like when I'm trying to feel into things, I actually use my heart. And the reason why I do that is because your heart has a vibrational frequency 5,000 times greater than your brain. So what that means, and some of you might have heard me say it before, what that means is that, so if you're watching the IGTV, you'll be able to see me do this. So basically like you've got vibrations, like think of it like you've got like like circles coming out, like, you know how like you have like a planet and there's like a thingy around the planet, like a orb, whatever the fucking word is. Think of them like there's those coming out of your heart, right? So your heart's here, and then you've got all these like what they are is fucking frequencies. It's just this frequency flowing out and out and out. So because your heart has a vibrational frequency 5,000 times greater than your brain, what it actually means is that your heart can sense the future. It can literally go into the future and your brain cannot. So there's been research done. You can actually watch the studies in Gaia, which is like Netflix for like like documentaries. There is a movie called like The Power of Your Heart or something or other. It's got a really ugly cover. It's like red. And it shows the study in there. And basically they hooked up all these people to these machines, and they had, they were able to flash up pictures of like scary things and then really cute things. And what they found was there was sensors on their brain and on people's hearts, obviously. Our heartbeat would change into fear before we saw the picture of the snake. But our brain would respond once we saw the picture of the snake, right? So the picture of the snake, like let's say the picture of the snake is about to show up in 1 second. Your heart has responded to the snake before your brain has even seen it. Then your brain sees it, and then your brain waves change, which is incredible, right? So your heart literally knows the future. So you actually cannot go wrong by listening to your heart, because your heart knows the future. In case you haven't fucking wrapped your head around that one yet, your heart knows the future. So when you're wanting to tune into your intuition always feels like quite neutral. I mean, you can feel like excited about something can feel expansive versus contractive. And when you're asking for guidance, like if you're trying to tune in, for want of a better phrase, and you're asking for guidance, that intuitive guidance is going to come through very neutral. So I'll give a very basic example. So when I met my soulmate, I asked my intuition, and it came through without excitement and without anything. The answer was just like, boom, it's there. It's just like handed to me kind of thing. And that is an example of, people would say, oh, but if you've realized that, you should be really excited. Well, the reason why I know that he's my soulmate, besides the fact there's like 1,000,001 fucking synchronicities out of control, besides that, and my intuition has told me when I asked the question, or when I was asking the questions, and I asked 1,000,001 times because I was like a little bit in denial, and a little bit like, I don't believe this. For me, like, I'm such a romantic. You would think like figuring out that I've, met my soulmate, you'd be so fucking ecstatic. But when I found out, I was just like, cool. And that was that intuition. The intuition came through with the energy of like, cool. And obviously when I think about it, I get really excited. But when I'm getting the guidance, I know it's through my intuition when there is no emotional response to it. When there is an emotional response to it, that is coming from your head, and it's coming from fear, or it's coming from you making something up in your imagination based on what your ego wants. So if you have your eyes closed and you're imagining like a question, like let's say for example, show me what's an example? Just think of anything that you want guidance on, basically, right? Think of anything that you want guidance on, and just close your eyes and ask the question to like your guides or to the universe or whatever. And if you can get the response, and this will be really hard for some of you, like it's hard to just explain it all like this, but basically, here's one. That's what I do with my clients. Okay. What do you want? What is your body craving for your next meal? And I want you to notice what the emotional response to that was, and what side of your brain did it come through. So like when I'm getting intuitive guidance, it comes through my head. I am a psychic that hears through my head. So some people hear like through their ear. I've heard that a few times. It's kind of been like, whoa. But I get my messages through my head, if that makes sense. Like they come through my head and I hear them through my head, and then I say them. So for me, and everyone's different, so you have to practice with yourself. For me, my intuition comes through my right side, and my fear comes through my left side. So I know when I'm getting messages and they're coming through the right, it's always my intuition, and the left is my fear. So let's say, for example, you're asking, what do I want for lunch, or what do I want with my next meal? If you get like, I don't know, sweet potato or whatever, sweet potato through your right side, if I got that through my right side, that'd be intuition. Whereas if I got like, I don't know what I would get through my left, but whatever. If you got like, let's say for example, you got like some junk food through your left, like, and it felt like, oh yeah, I want that. That's your fucking ego. That's not actually your intuition. So yeah, with your intuition, it feels very neutral, and with your ego and fear, it feels more stressful. Now, you might ask yourself the question of like, should I invest in this person? And you might feel in your heart like scared, and you don't take that as it's the wrong choice. You also need to ask yourself, is it like I'm nervous? is it still expansive, or is it like that person is a no? So let's use an example, because I was actually doing this the other day with someone that I was like thinking about investing in, and I wasn't really sure, am I investing in it for the wrong reasons? Like, am I spending that money for the wrong reasons, or am I doing it because it's soul aligned? And so I sat in meditation and I just kind of asked, like, is so-and-so my next coach? And I get a no straight away. And that no isn't like, aw, or like, yes, it's a no. It's actually very like neutral. It's just like, no. It's like, okay. And that's how I know it's my intuitive guidance. Now, for some people, when they're thinking about investing, and I can go back to when I first invested in myself, or when I made a really big investment, just like end of last year, what was I going to say? It's very easy to be feeling, or even when I'm investing in like apartments and houses to stay in and accommodation and whatever, or clothes, for fucking sake, like, you know, even that, it can feel nerve-wracking in your heart, and that doesn't mean it's a no, because your fear and excitement actually feel the same, one. And two, your heart can be nervous, your body can be nervous, but it can still feel expansive. So just like, this intuition stuff's kind of hard to explain over a podcast. So just like understand that. And I do go through intuition stuff in more detail in Witchery and Wisdom. So, so in this 100th episode, what we're going to do for you guys is you can get Witchery and Wisdom for $666 instead of $888. So basically the code is going to be in the description. I don't know what the code is because I'm not Shelby. She's probably already made it up. We'll put the code in the description of the podcast, and you can go and get Witchery and Wisdom. It's only going to be valid until next Wednesday. Hold on a second. What's the date today? It's only going to be valid until next Wednesday, the 6th of May, 2020. So make sure that you have gone and grabbed that if you haven't already, because the modules, there's like fucking a million modules in there. We go through everything witchy, everything intuition, pendulums, tarot, everything. And I keep adding a lot. I was actually saying to Shelby today, like, fuck, that program is worth so much because I keep adding shit. And it's like a very big program. It's my biggest online course. So go and get that if you want to get it. And we do more intuition stuff in there, and that will just help you to tap more into it, into your intuition. So that's kind of the difference between intuition in terms of the feelings, and then fear and how that comes through. So to start to like play with that experiment, start to just like use your intuition more. And what I mean by that is like asking yourself those simple questions of like, what do I want for dinner? Or like, should I invest in so-and-so? Or where should my next holiday be? Like, all those little things can actually be really helpful in you waking up your intuition more, because a lot of us, our intuition's very dead and blocked. And if it's very dead and blocked, it can take a little bit to wake it up. So also don't be disheartened if you're like, I don't even know how to do that process. Like, I couldn't even get anything. Don't be disheartened. For something for me as well that I wrote down is with favorite spiritual practices and just like tapping into your intuition. Once I hired my first psychic, it opened me up so much. So I didn't know that I knew that I was quite intuitive before I hired her, but I didn't realize that I was psychic and that I could see things and hear things until I hired her. And then it opened up, and a lot of intuitives that I know, it was the same for them. Once I started hiring intuitives, it actually opened them up. That's why I kind of like to now offer those occasional like channelings and tarot readings. Channeling takes so much out of you. If anyone doesn't know this, I just want to like preface, guys, if you hire a psychic or a channeler, and you know, a good psychic and a good channel, they should be charging like quite a few $100s for an hour. And one, because like the things that you get are fucking priceless, okay? Like the advice that you get, the messages that you get, the reading that you get is priceless. And also it is the most exhausting thing. Like it is more exhausting and more like draining than like me doing a 3-day event. It's very, very draining. So please honor that and respect that for myself and my prices. And then also for anybody else that you're seeing. It's a very intense kind of form of coaching thing. So yeah, I found that once I hired a psychic, it really, really opened me up to my gifts and to my intuition. So that could be something that for you guys to also do. Also, sitting in meditation is a really good way to just start to get your connection to yourself deeper, and that will open up your intuition and get your connection to source, the universe, God, angels, whatever you believe in, also to being deeper as well, which will be really, really helpful for you. The next thing also that I want to mention is I used to always think that I was talking to myself in my head, or that God was talking to me. I used to be like, I used to be Christian, Catholic. Oh, what's the one? Anglican. There was a blend because like my dad was Anglican or is Anglican and my mum is Catholic, but now she's like spiritual like me, and like more woo-woo. By the way, guys, I don't actually believe that what we believe in is woo-woo. I just say woo-woo because like it's just easier to put it into words. I just find woo-woo is just easier, but I actually don't believe it's woo-woo whatsoever. So I grew up like, I guess, Christian, like Catholic, Anglican. It was never, I did not grow up in a very, very Catholic household. It wasn't like no sex before marriage. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, we'd go to church for Christmas and like, you know, when hectic family shit was happening and whatnot, we would go to church a bit more, but that was it. So I used to think that God was talking to me. I've always been very spiritual, and it's in my natal chart. It's a very clearly planned out that I have this defining split where half of me is heavily spiritual and half of me is heavily in reality. And I think I said this before somewhere else. That is what it might have been in MMM. That's what makes me, and this is what multiple people have said to me as well, and I really feel that's what makes me so good at my job and so good at life, is that I have this blend. And a lot of people can be so woo-woo and they don't live in the reality, and so they actually will come up with a lot of problems that are rooted in reality, or people are so in reality, not in the spiritual. And so all their energetics are just fucked. So, and like things are really hard for them. So I've got this defining split. Anyway, so I used to always believe that there was a higher power. 1,000% I believed that. And so I didn't even have any knowledge of like the universe and like spirit guides. I didn't even know that world existed until like, I guess really like a few years ago. So I just believed there was like different gods that you could like, that there was like Buddha, if he's a god. I'm going to sound really naive right now. And then there was like God, and there was Jesus. I would always get confused about like, do you pray to Jesus or God? I don't know. Anyway, point being is none of the very specifics of religions didn't vibe with me, but I just knew that there was something higher that I could call on for guidance and support. That's all I knew to be true. So that's what I fucking believed. So I used to believe that God would talk to me, but it turns out, I found this out last year, that wasn't God per se talking to me. And I also used to think that I would talk to myself. So when I was younger, I would think God would talk to me. I remember this. I would think that God was talking to me. And I think I hit a point where I like shut it out because I was getting freaked out. And then I just thought that I would talk to myself a lot. Like in my head, I would just have this like full on dialogue between like two people, but it wasn't negative dialogue. So it wasn't my ego. It wasn't this inner bitch. It was like, this positive guidance that was coming from like within me, I guess. And I didn't know that it was me channeling and hearing things and being that spiritually connected until last year. But I'm actually like, I was born a heavily spiritual child, and, I've been told it by many people. And when I was a kid, heavily spiritual, and then I just like shut it down like most people do. And then I brought it back up again. And I think it really started to come back up after my really bad ski accident that kind of just like knocked me for a sixer, where I had to trust the process. I had to believe that it was happening for a reason. And I couldn't believe anything else. So that's kind of when I really started getting quite spiritual. And then what was I going to say? So yeah, it wasn't that I was actually talking to myself. It was actually that I was getting guidance, and that I was like, my guides were talking to me. And now I've met a lot of my guides, and I continuously meet more, and they come into me. They come into my awareness all the time, and they are always like, we're always kind of having conversation, and I rely on them a lot. And honestly, I don't know where I would be without my spiritual practices. I do not know where I would be without my spells, without all my witchcraft, my witchy practices, without my ability to like talk to the moon, talk to the universe, talk to my guides, because they give me so much guidance and support. And like, I channel my programs through them. Like the bundle that I've given out, like Shelby and I were on a meeting, and it just fucking came through me like a lightning bolt. And it's been fucking incredible. Like, by the time this is out, there's probably like 150 of you in the bundle. And that just like makes my heart sing. There are so many of you already having amazing breakthroughs, and like the content in there is fucking valuable, and it's $49 fucking dollars. Like, part of me is like, maybe I should have raised that shit. But I wanted it to be like a very beginner's intro, easy to access kind of thing for you guys. Anyway, so the next thing that I also want to mention about like spiritual practices and getting more into your spiritual practices is spells. So all spells are, it's like using tools to deepen your manifestation, because when it comes to manifesting, it's about directing the energy towards something. It's about directing your energy towards your goals and towards your desires. And spells using colors, candles, tarot cards, herbs, like chants, all that kind of stuff, they just allow you to accelerate the process and to have a deeper connection with manifestation. It's kind of like you're sending more energy and more awareness, because those tools help you to like increase your energetic charge whilst you're doing a manifestation practice. Like I find doing spells way more potent and way more powerful than just writing in my journal. So I love spells for that reason, and they help me release so much. They help me let go when I'm like in my head about stuff. They help me manifest things really fucking quickly. And they just provide, again, this guidance and support that allows me to never feel alone, to never feel like the world's out to get me. I always feel like everything is easy, because if something is hard, I'm just like, oh, I'll just fucking do a spell for it. And then it becomes easy again. So it's just like, it's a tool that I use to help me to get where I want to go and fast. So that's kind of what I do for spells. And also like, it's really helpful to like with manifestations of really calling it in, really like focusing your awareness on that thing, which will obviously make it more likely to come true. The next thing that I wanted to mention was burning ceremony. So most of you guys will know this, like burning is one of the best spiritual practices of just like releasing and letting go. I love burning shit. Fire is, I'm a fire element. And like I have so much fire in me, and I love fire. So I love candle rituals. I love burning rituals. I love smoke. I love saging, Palo Santo. I'm pretty sure I fucking do it every day. Like I love smoke and I love fire. For some of you, you might really like water, and so baths can be really helpful. I love doing bath spells as well, and bath rituals to like call things in and to release things as well. You guys have tons of bath spells in www, and I will continue to add more as I go along and as I make more. Whenever I make a spell, I make sure I put it in there so that I can give it to you. There's a few that I want to like tweak, and I'm just like working on and waiting for them to like happen. And then once they happen, I will definitely put them in. There's quite a few. So once it comes true, then I will let you guys know and pop it in Witch Room Wisdom. And once you get it for life. So all the add-ons that you get, you don't pay extra for them. You have them already. Okay, the next one might seem like not spiritual, but it fucking is. Dancing. Any connection to yourself and connection to like gratitude is spiritual. Connection to energy is spiritual. So when I'm dancing like no one's business, I feel so in joy, so in bliss, so happy, so connected, so in love with myself and so in love with life. And that alone is a spiritual practice, because it's connecting me to more of me, right? So dancing every day is a non-negotiable for me. Putting music on and just like really feeling into my future is a spiritual practice. Go to my Spotify and get all my fucking sexy playlists, because they're amazing and they really get the fucking vibes going. If I don't say so myself, I'm obsessed with them. And then I've said baths already. Showers are also really, really good. So what you can do is you can like stand under a shower and just like imagine the water is washing off anything from you that no longer serves you. Eating food sensually is also really, really good, because again, it's that connection to yourself. I cannot wait for Queen Alchemy to start. Oh, today. Once this comes out, it'll come out in the morning. Queen Alchemy starts tonight. I cannot wait for Queen Alchemy to get right into it with all the sensual eating that we're going to be doing. I'm going to literally like record a class for you guys of me sexually eating strawberries and chocolate and teaching you guys how to really, really do it properly. Not just like a quick little number, because doing it properly is different from how most people think it is. So I'm going to be showing you guys that. I actually should record that maybe this weekend. Maybe tomorrow. So eating food sexually and sensually, pulling tarot cards and oracle cards. So rule of thumb, you want to start with oracle, then go to tarot. And I love them, and I love reading for you guys on Instagram lives occasionally. Oracle cards are a really nice thing to just be pulling for that like overall guidance, and then tarot cards much more specific. In Witch Room Wisdom, I give you guys a massive PDF of like a little bit of an overview of each, like a what's it called? Overview. I can't think of the word, of each tarot card, both right way up and reversed. A lot of books don't give you the reversed meaning of a tarot card. So I've written in the reversed meanings as well. So you guys have that as a tool to be using, because the reversed meanings can also tell you a lot. And I've also added in some spreads, like some daily frequency spreads and some different spreads in there. And I will add some more when I get the chance to as well, because there's a few more that I've made, and I'll add some more in there as well that you guys can be using to pull your tarot cards. And then something else that I find super helpful for me connecting deeper to my intuition and to my gifts is doing my own readings for clients. So doing tarot spreads for my clients, doing those like occasional one-off channelings and tarot readings. I love them. I don't do them often, those one-offs, because they like I said before, they're very energetically draining, but I love doing them, and it actually helps me to deepen my ability. So I also practice channeling on myself all the time. And then I do it with my clients that are already my clients. And just always being like, what does my intuition feel? What does my intuition feel? And I do everything pretty much in my life via my intuition. Even when Shelby's planning out content, I'm tuning into my intuition of like, does that feel good? Is that right? Like when I'm making programs, it's always also based on my intuition is telling me like, does that feel good? Does that feel authentic? Does that feel good in my body to be, you know, changing it like this? Or like, because for example, we're making Baba a little bit different this time around, and it's going to be Baba 2.0. And I've really been going like back and forth with my intuition and like, how does this feel? How does this feel? And giving myself plenty of time to come to that final answer, so that when I come to that final answer and I come to that final like program of how it's all going to be laid out and like the modules and what I'm going to be covering, it feels really, really good in my body and in my heart, because then I can sell it more easily, obviously, and it's way more in alignment, because I do everything for my business in alignment. It's got to feel fucking amazing, and I got to believe and back it 1,000,000%, or I obviously would not offer it. And then my pendulum. So my pendulum is my greatest fucking friend. Like, holy shit balls. I muscle test as well myself, but my pendulum is amazing. It's non-biased, obviously, whereas muscle testing can have a bit of a personal bias in there. And like, I just love my pendulum whenever I'm feeling a little bit unsure about something, or I need like an answer about yes or no, and I'm just like not trusting myself or not trusting the process. I just pull out my pendulum and just whip it out and like ask it, and then I get all the guidance and I'm like, oh lol, I'm fine. And then it's amazing. So I'm looking at it right now. I fucking love it. And I added, if you haven't already seen and you joined Witchy Wisdom end of last year, I added a pendulum module into it. So please go and look at that and watch the video, because I show you guys how to use it. And then obviously the last thing that helps connect me to my intuition more into my spiritual practices is my work. Like all of my podcasts, all of my programs, all my coaching sessions, everything that I do in my business and even in my life, but in my business mainly, it connects me to my spirituality and to my guides and to my intuition and to the universe. Even when I'm like on client calls or like doing my events, I don't even know what I'm saying half the fucking time. I mean, I don't even remember what I've said in this bloody podcast, because I just like channel it, just like comes through me. That's why I talk really effing fast, because things are just coming through me and I just like can't keep up. I'm like, okay, keep going. And like my mouth is moving faster than I can even think. Like I don't think when I'm talking, I'm just like fucking talking. And so in my modules, in my programs, in my courses, in my events, it's the same shit. Like this is why I actually watch my own stuff. I don't watch my own stuff because I'm editing it. I watch my own stuff because the shit in it is so good. I'm like, damn, that's a really good nugget, Monica. And like, I don't even remember saying it. Like Shelby will write down some chicken nuggets from each episode, like when she writes the description out, and I'll look at the chicken nuggets. I'm like, damn, that was a good one. And like, I don't even remember saying that. So, you know, doing my own work, because my work is so in alignment and it's so on purpose and it is my purpose. Every time I'm doing it and I'm embodying it, I just feel like I'm more and more connected to something bigger, because I honestly feel like I've been gifted this and I'm like living it out, and therefore I'm so supported, so guided, and so cherished, and I am well compensated because of how in alignment my business is and how I operate my business completely from heart, soul, pussy, not from ego whatsoever. And there's plenty of people that do operate their business from ego. And like for me, that does not serve me whatsoever, because I want my business to be sustainable, and I want it to be easy and in flow, and I want it to feel good for all of you. So every single thing that I do, I promise you 1000%, every single thing I do in my business, it is coming from my heart. It has got no ego behind it. And yes, there are some strategies behind things, but I do not make things to fit a strategy. I come up with things and then we kind of wind that through a strategy. Does that make sense? So like I came up with the bundle and we've used that as a way to promote my business. We've used that as a way to have a low service offering, but that bundle came through me. We weren't trying to like manipulate something that fit into X box. The thing came and then we made a box to put the thing in, if that makes sense. That's kind of how it works, right? So every single thing that I do in my business is completely guided and it's completely like channeled through me, and I fucking love it because it also makes everything so easy, and it makes selling the offerings and sharing all my offerings with you guys so fucking easy because I believe in them 10 million %. So I'm going to leave it there. It's 6 o'clock. I need to start editing all the Magic Money Manifestation videos. Level 2, that's going to be coming out really soon, guys. So make sure that you are on that. If you haven't gotten level 1, go get it. We've opened up a payment plan for right now. We'll close that soon, but we've opened it up right now. So if you need to do a payment plan, you can jump on that for level 1, and then level 2 comes out later. And level 2 is really like that next level up. Level 2 is like you've got all the basics, you understand manifestation, you understand money. It's no basics about how to manifest. It's everything above that. It's like when you're hitting money ceilings, the energy of like having more and more and more and allowing yourself to have overflow, the energy of like debt and borrowing. It's a lot of the energetics behind things, a lot of being in my energy. I have a whole big module on like attracting in your soulmate, and like how I fucking hate on Instagram. It's like, oh, you need a king. Like all this bullshit around like perfect man and king, and like he would never make you question anything. And I'm like, well, that's fucking bullshit. So I've done like a whole module on like calling in your soulmate and what that really means. We've done so fucking much stuff on just like being in your queen energy. So basically, if you feel like you're maybe a little bit stagnant in your manifestations, or you feel like you've got a lot and part of you is like, why do I need more? This is a program for you. This is about allowing yourself to have more and more and more and not settle where you are. It's really easy that once you've hit levels to just kind of sit there and be like, okay, this is fine. I'm like comfy, I'm cozy, I'm like living a great life. But why not have more? Because the universe wants to give it to us. So let's fucking receive it. So quick reminder, get the bundle, get Witchery and Wisdom for $666 instead of $888, which is only available until next Wednesday, the 6th of May, 2020. And then it's going to be closed. So grab that if you would like to. If any of you need payment plans, please email hello@monicayates.com.au and we can set you up with one. But yeah, otherwise send me any questions that you have. And next episode will be a Q&A episode. If you guys have any questions that you want me to answer, like random shit, then send them to me. I think it'd also be really fun if I did like an about me episode. So I'll also put a question box on later on Instagram. So make sure you follow it. Make sure you like look. I'll put a question box up of like questions for an about me episode. So you guys can just ask me like questions that you want to know about me, not questions reworked, just questions about me. And I will happily answer that in a future episode. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you guys. I hope that you got a lot out of today's episode. I hope that you learned some things. And yeah, I'll see you inside Witchery and Wisdom. Oh, and if you get Witchery and Wisdom before, I can't remember what date, basically get it in this time frame, because in June, I'm going to do a live call. So if you get it before next Wednesday, then you can come to the live Zoom call, and we're going to do a live Zoom call in June, and then you guys can ask me all of your witchy questions. So it will give you plenty of time. There's a lot of stuff in there. It'll give you plenty of time to work through all of the content, so that come June, you've got plenty of questions to be asking me, and we'll do a really long Zoom call with a big Q&A. And I can like offer you guys any more guidance or support or teachings around like spells and casting spells and tarot readings and whatever else you need help on. Okay. All right. I will, what is Shelby saying? I don't know. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later and have a great day.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got lots of chicken nuggets out of today's episode. I would be really, really grateful if you'd be able to leave me a review and a star rating that you think is appropriate, hopefully 5. And if you could share this podcast so that I can help more women live a life of flow and ease, I would be so fucking grateful. Make sure you tag me in it on Instagram so I can personally thank you, because I know so many of my clients have found me literally because their friends have posted about my podcast on their Instagram story. And I just want to help as many women as possible. So by you sharing it, I would be so fucking grateful, and I'm sure your friends would be too. If you do want to work with me, please do check out my website for all those details. And of course, you can DM me on Instagram with any other questions. If you have any podcast things you want me to talk about, any ideas, any feedback. I am always open to it, and I always love hearing what you guys have to say. So please don't hesitate about that either. I will catch you on the flip side. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are.